Liberty moves to 2-0 after a 28-7 win at Presbyterian College this past Saturday. Here to wrap things up alongside Nick Pierce, I'm Alan York. And Nick, Liberty builds a 21-0 lead at halftime. Defense, 4 interceptions. So all in all, pretty good performance by both sides and special teams as well.
No doubt about it. And I think one of the things we were all worried about going in was how the Flames were going to deal with the atmosphere at Presbyterian College and the mental toughness that they were going to have to exude in this football game. And obviously things got a little bit tougher when we showed up early in the morning and there was about a half-inch of snow and ice on the ground. So not really something that you expect to see in the state of South Carolina on November 1st, but that was the situation. The Flames were able to, as you said, race out to that early 21-0 lead. And really, I think the biggest sequence there in the football game came with about 3 minutes to go inside of 3 minutes to go in the first half. Presbyterian stopped on a fourth down play with the Flames up 14-0. They were driving on that possession. Flames stopped them on fourth down. The very next play from scrimmage, Josh Woodrum hits Darrin Peterson for a 70-yard touchdown strike. It's 21-0 going into the locker room. I think the game was pretty much over at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. And you look at what happened offensively, both teams run 62 plays. Yardage-wise, pretty comparable, but those 4 turnovers forced by Liberty was the big difference defensively for Liberty.
Huge difference. And the Flames with 4 interceptions this year, the most that they've had in a game this season. All started with Gary Sampson making a very athletic play, going up and getting one early there in the first half, then a couple of picks from Jacob Hagan, one early in the second half, and then A.J. James, just about a half hour away from his hometown of Duncan, South Carolina, comes away with his first pick. So really sound performance from the Flames defense, and one that secondary has been questioned at times. We didn't know how they were going to hold up today or on Saturday against Hayes McMath, a scrambling quarterback, running quarterback who can extend plays. They held up just fine.
Despite the win, Liberty quarterback Josh Woodrum says this team still has things to work on in the next 3 games.
Overall, I think we played really good on offense. I think we need to finish more. I don't think the third quarter is very strong for us. We definitely should have had a touchdown or 2 in that quarter. And but a win's a win, and we'll take it home. And now we got 2 home games before we go down to Coastal for our last away game.
Even though we got a lot of things surrounding us at home, we know we got to stay focused, stay on task, and like Coach Gills always tells us, stay tunnel vision and get it done.
Nick, focus back on the offense a little bit. DJ Abner, pretty workmanlike day for him, 83 yards rushing, another 100-yard receiving day for Petey Peterson. So the key cogs in the offense played pretty good on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think Abner, we were all concerned going in. We didn't know what his workload was going to look like before a third straight game, 20-plus carries for him. Abner coming off of that little ankle ding a little over a week ago against Gardner-Webb. Practiced fine, said he would be fine, and he was just fine. Mm-hmm. Tough guy back there for the Flames. And he got back in the end zone as well. He told me going into that game at PC, it'd be a little bit emotional for him because that was the place where he scored his first touchdown. And ironically enough, if you remember back in 2012, it was late in that game when he got in the end zone, just like it was late in this game when he got in there as well.
Yeah, and Liberty had a record-breaking performance in that game. Remember, Aldricus Allen had a big day 2 years ago. But you look at Josh Woodrum, another great performance for him, a couple of touchdown passes, another rushing. He just continues to be very dependable for this offense moving forward.
Yeah, well, he's a leader, and that's what you want to see. He goes out there, he leads by example. He sells out when he has to on plays down near the end zone. 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 running, as you said. And then Petey Peterson continues to make plays for him in the receiving corps as well, like you mentioned, 156 yards. And then had a nice real juggling catch there. His concentration on plays like that just really astounds me how he's able to put it all together out there on the field.
We touched on the special teams a little bit at the beginning. There were some breakdowns in some plays. John Lunsford missed a field goal. They tried an onside kick at the beginning of the third quarter. That didn't quite work out. And they faked a field goal, which, talking to Coach Gill after the game, that was planned despite being up and the wind going at the face of John Lunsford. So the fake field goal was part of just putting it on tape to let people have to know they have to scheme for it moving forward. So depending upon how you look at it, some things they need to shore up still in those special teams.
Yeah, and Lunsford, as far as the missed field goal goes, I'm not going to hold that against him too much because that was like kicking a rock out there.
Right.
And the field wasn't in great shape. There were a lot of extra circumstances going into that. But, overall, I don't think there were any yes, there's things to work on, but I don't think there were any major gaffes like we've seen at times before. No one dropped a punt, fumbling balls into the end zone where the other team scores. There was nothing like that, and I think, look at this ball game in particular, I think that's a big win for the special teams.
Coach Gill added after the ball game he was happy with how the team executed the game plan.
The momentum stayed on our side throughout the whole ball game, and again, a great job by our guys executing the whole game plan. And so again, proud of our guys, and we just could keep on moving.
That brings us now to Saturday. Back at home, Military Appreciation Day against Monmouth, a team that 2 weeks ago got beaten at Presbyterian and was shut out at home against Charleston Southern. That being said, though, the #1 passing attack led by Brendan Hill, pretty good quarterback for Monmouth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's a team that's been able to put up a lot of points. I was really actually surprised that they were shut out at home, especially. That was a really big statement game there for Charleston Southern last week. But, they've been a team that's been able to put up a lot of points in spite of losing KB Asante a few weeks ago, their top tailback. And they've really had to do it through the air. So it'll be interesting to see what the Hawks bring down here to Lynchburg coming off a couple of losses. I'm sure the Flames will get tested.
Liberty 1-0 all-time against Monmouth after beating them here in Lynchburg last year. Monmouth now a full-fledged football member here in the Big South. Kickoff set for 3:30. Our pregame radio coverage comes your way at 2 o'clock. This will also be an American Sports Network TV broadcast. First time having those folks on campus, so we look forward to all that coming up on Saturday for Military Appreciation Day here at Liberty. For Nick Pierce, I'm Alan York for the Liberty Flames Sports Network.